Summer has come and passed. Lordstown will come in last. Wake me up when September ends.
For more great entertainment just like that, everybody, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the bell.
Yes. Okay.
And how long have you been waiting? I know you probably just came up with that, but
I think this goes back to earlier in the year when.
All right, so there was a guy.
Bit of a feud going on here.
There was one particular comment left on one of our. I think it was a Lordstown video where the commenter said, "Hey, you'll see," and he quoted Green Day, and he said, wake me up right when September ends.
He goes, I'll let Green Day wake me up when September ends.
Implying that Lordstown would be there first.
That Lordstown would be there first. And I beg to differ with that because all indications of the troubles and stuff that they were having, that they were not going to make it. That doesn't mean that Keith and I are anti-Lordstown. We're all about good luck for startup.
We're actually just anti, wrong information. Okay, so
right.
So lo and behold, Jay, here we are. Fast forward to September.
Right. Can you do me a favor, though, real quick, before we get any further? Can you give me the sound bite? Can you cue Bert? I want the bandit right now. Can
I say I told you so.
Well, but lo and behold, here we are. It's the middle of, by the time you watch this, it'll be towards the end of September.
Right.
And yep, sure enough, Lordstown's first off the line, right?
No. They're not.
What?
Yeah.
You're kidding.
They're not. I don't. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if they're still on the stock market, man. Actually, they are still on the stock market.
So
but
this is actually not a beat up Lordstown section. This is what just happened.
Well, Rivian is the very first all-electric pickup truck to be delivered to a customer. It is
I hate to say I told you so.
Indeed,
but you mean not an actual cut? This isn't this is on a cartoon, right? Like they're not actually.
No. On September 14th, the actual RJ Scaringe. He tweeted out several pictures of those vehicles coming off the assembly line, and he basically says in that tweet that after months of building pre-production vehicles, this morning our first customer vehicle drove off of our production line in Normal, Illinois. Our team's collective efforts have made this moment possible. Can't wait to get these into the hands of our customers.
Okay, but this is tweeted this.
Bravo.
And it was planned to release in 2 years, and it was just a media staging event, right? And then somebody accidentally hit post. It's not actually happening now, is it?
No, it's actually happening, Keith. Yes. And there is some other news.
Well, there's got to be some bad news in here somewhere.
Well, there's some bad news, but there's also some good news, a little meat on the bone for you people who
I'm just trying to keep the one Lordstown fan happy somewhere.
Right.
There's got to be.
Absolutely, man. Rivian they had faced a lot of delays, earlier in the year. In recent months, they were supposed to begin, delivering the vehicles in June, but then it was pushed back to July, and in July the rollout was delayed again. This time until September, and the timing could not have been more perfect for me as a Rivian fan and a Lordstown fan I couldn't wait till September ended to bring the news to you, man. So
you've been
just
marking time with that guy's comment, haven't you?
Oh my goodness. Anyway, not only that, last month Rivian also announced that it's intention to become a publicly traded company, and they're hoping for an IPO around Thanksgiving. So
good timing. A clever timing, right? This guy again, and I've said this before on this program. Love the company, like the trucks, don't like the trucks. Whatever. I am a huge fan of how RJ is doing things in that company. And so here you have he's waiting for his IPO until people have this vehicle, they have the product in hand. they can sit behind the wheel and drive it.
Right.
They can
Right.
own one. Now, not
Right.
everybody, but enough people out there that there's going to start to be feedback, and that shows confidence,
Mm-hmm.
and that's going to do a tremendous benefit to the value of that of that stock, I think. Now, by contrast,
Mm-hmm.
let's look at, I don't know. I won't even say Lordstown. I'll say Nikola.
Yeah, let's go with
where
Nikola.
They've
Yeah.
toyed around with going public. Both of those companies, I think, now are public, Lordstown and Nikola, and they don't have a product out yet that you can
Right.
that's an automobile that the consumer can purchase. So the point I'm trying to make here, folks, is there's a stark difference in how they're running things. You've got a guy that took investment dollars, did a startup, and drove a, no pun intended, product to completion,
Right.
then goes public. On
Right.
the other side of it, you have what I like to call what's the name of the like they get people to invest and they've got a product idea. This became popular about a decade ago, and then you give money to it, and then a year and a half after it goes into production, you get your like cooler or whatever.
Right. It's just, well, I mean, startup.
Kickstarter. It's a Kickstarter.
Kickstarter, that's it, right,
They're
right.
running it like a Kickstart program where they're just basically, you have to have a little faith and hope that
Right.
they're going to actually deliver, which faith and hope are not great things in terms of,
However, Faith, Hope, and Love is a great album by King's X. Anyway.
Yeah, right. But, and as far as automobiles go, I think we like to see a little bit more proof. So,
Oh, absolutely. But, RJ Scaringe, through this whole process, has been extremely transparent about what's going on. And I think that's what was a faith builder for his future consumers and the ones that had already placed orders. Now, granted, we have been posting on our social media platforms about every move that these guys were making, right? We put it out on our Facebook feed, which is, if you're interested, go over to facebook.com/Parts Counter Gurus. And we also posted it over on our Instagram account, which is instagram.com/The Parts Counter Gurus. We posted all this stuff up. On Twitter at the Counter Show is where we're at. And we would get a few comments, a few likes here and there, just people, scrambling around. But the post that we put out about this baby coming out, we got the most. This is what's telling about how excited people are about this thing to hit the market.
That is it for sure. And we, Jay,
our channels blew up.
We haven't even had a chance to drive this thing yet, which I hope and think is coming. If anybody from Rivian out there wants to put us in one, let us know.
Please, we will be at SEMA. We hope you are there. If you are there, please reach out to us, reach out to us, contact us.
But again, all the public. I think my earlier statement of liking the way he runs his company, I think the public agrees, because you have a lot more fans for this product and this platform than some of the other EVs that are still not out yet. I mean, even the Tesla Cybertruck, which has a huge following, has sort of the chatter has kind of died down over the past 9 months, right?
Who's gotten their hands on one of those, right?
Right. Well, they're still trying to fix the windshield. No, and it looks amazing, and I can't wait to see what Elon Musk and his team can do with it. But we're a long way off from.
Absolutely. So for RJ Scaringe, welcome to an elite club. I mean, look at how far Elon has come since Tesla hit the market. I mean, now he's launching rockets into space with people on it, man, and which is pretty amazing. Will RJ be the next Elon? I don't know. I mean, what is his vision?
I don't think he
beyond.
Cares.
Right. Well,
we'll see.
Does he have a vision beyond?
He's not doing
the auto industry.
He's not doing these like big pressers, and I don't know.
He doesn't do that. He's kind of a down to earth guy from the way I gathered. He's a family man.
Right.
He likes to go camping, but it doesn't come without problems, right?
Now, you got to give me some bad news. This can't be nothing but a good news segment, okay? Because I just refuse. For the one Lordstown fan out there, we've got to give him some glimmer of hope here, right?
Keith, as I like to say, meat on the bone or soy on the bean. Let's go. What's happening?
Okay.
What's wrong here?
Well, what I like to refer to as parking lot mode, because you know what's going to happen. I've said this before. When this tank turn mode comes out that is in the R1T, people
Right.
are just going to be doing donuts in the parking lot with it, right?
Right.
I mean, I would.
Absolutely.
I mean, right?
Heck yeah. Give me some snow or ice, man. I'm all over that sucker.
So they premiered this in the form of an actual video with footage of the truck doing it under its own power a couple years ago, right around Thanksgiving.
Yep.
It's called Tank Turn. It looks pretty awesome.
Right.
I think it prompted GM and the Hummer EV to look at their crab mode and that sort of stuff. That's just my opinion. I don't know that to be the facts.
I believe you're correct.
So they've come out and said, "Yeah, we're not gonna make Tank Turn immediately available to the first round of owners yet." See, this can all be pushed out through software updates.
Right.
The mechanics are there,
Right.
But
remember everybody.
Go ahead, Jay.
Let me just to put you into perspective here. We're talking about an all-electric pickup truck that has individual motors on each wheel, making it a true all-wheel drive, four-wheel drive vehicle, whereas there are some that are not using single motors on each wheel. It has front and rear drive, but you are going to maybe have two on the rear and one on the front, or two on the front and one in the back. So there's a difference here. And that's how they're able to pull this mode off. Now, Keith, why is it a problem right now?
Boy, so this is really you. I should be asking you, but now, for good reason, just like everything else they've done in their defense, it's because of intended use. So Rivian has marketed this thing as an off-road adventure vehicle, the R1T, right?
Right.
We've said this before many times. All the press photos, there's always some image of either a tent or a campsite or a camp kitchen, or doing donuts in the desert, or there's just nothing but pictures of this truck out overlanding. Right, it's in all Rivian's media.
Camping, whatever. Yep.
So you take this thing off road with that feature enabled, and you've got some traction. You've got power distribution issues in terms of which wheel gets power in a situation where you may be stuck or crawling, right?
That's right. Yeah. They have been unable to get this thing, have an individual motor let's put it to this in perspective of a traditional four-wheel drive vehicle with like locking differentials. Okay. That whole concept is to give specific amounts of torque and grip to a specific wheel at the time of need to get you over a boulder and or through a crevasse or whatever. Basically crawling, doing a lot of rock crawling. They have been unable to develop a system yet to keep this from being upset as this thing is driving. In other words, being able to do the same thing as a locking differential will do.
Particularly on inclines, as I read.
Correct. So even though it's an electronic aid, and it can still compensate for that to a degree.
So let me I'm going to oversimplify this, and I can't wait to read the comments, but for those of you that don't go off-roading on a regular basis, you would be, in theory, in some situations where you're going over some sort of an obstacle. Usually it's rocks. A lot of these off-road trails, there's big boulders and stuff that you climb over.
Right.
So if you have a situation where there's also usually some sort of obstacles on the trail off to the side, and they're significant. Like, it's like a big tree or a big boulder that if you don't make the climb properly, that vehicle could end up sideways against a tree, and you've done a bunch of body damage and things get ugly, right?
Absolutely.
And so what you don't want in those situations where you're crawling over a rock, and let's say you have like the front passenger wheel up in the air, not touching, making contact with the ground, you don't want then the vehicle to basically push itself sideways as a result of lack of or loss of traction on one of those wheels.
Right. You have to be more in control of that. The whole idea is to be able to work through that smoothly and slowly. And the problem you have with an electric motor is that, and if you don't have some sort of way to set give it a variable option there, if you will, then it's going to just be all boom. That's it. There's no way. If there's no way to control it, then that is a very big problem for this mode. While it looked good on film, just sitting there with no problems, just spinning, it was not encountering the variables that you're going to encounter when you're in a true off-road situation. So this is a big problem for them with this thing.
Yeah.
But the way they approached it is I love RJ for how his transparency is a very huge asset to him, is that he's coming out and saying, hey, we don't have this perfected, and so the launch editions are not going to have this mode on it. Like you said, Keith, eventually they'll probably be able to do this through a software update to fix that problem for them, and it will be a usable feature. So that's promising, and that's an advantage of this type of an electric vehicle like this, where you can push software. You can't push a software update to a locking differential, man. You know.
So to be clear, everybody, Rivian is not saying, and we are not saying, that this thing can't climb right now off road. It can do crawling. It can climb. What is intended, is my understanding of this tank turn mode, is to get you out of tricky situations where you may otherwise need a tow or a rescue.
Correct.
And so the reason they're withholding it is not so that you can't do donuts in the parking lot. That works just fine. Okay. Right. It's so that if you need to use it for its intended application, which is to get you out of if you're stuck.
Right.
They're thinking about what could happen if it's not working perfectly, where it ends up slinging you sideways against a tree or a rock or flips you over. And they don't want to deal with that. They don't want to put their trucks in that situation. That's why they're withholding it. Not because the truck itself can't climb. It's just that the tank mode, which nobody else has right now anyway, is maybe not usable in an off-road stuck situation where you might need recovery.
If it's on an incline, and tank turn mode, it's a problem.
Yep.
Period.
There you go.
If you're flat, it's okay. But they're not going to put it on their vehicles until they get that perfected. And again, I'm sure they have software engineers that are right now writing code for this thing. They're back behind the scenes testing this stuff, and their goal was to get the vehicles as promised out to their owners, which they are in the process of delivering as we speak. And again, through their concierge services and their software updates, they will have this nut cracked, and I'm really excited for Rivian. Again, way to go, guys, man. I'm so excited for them. You too?
Way to crack nuts, Rivian. Happy September, everybody.